And the goal of that is to improve site quality. And so to get a little background, any website projects that we do, inevitably the goals end up including that they want it to be easy for visitors. They want it to be intuitive, user-friendly. These are some of the other words that clients use to describe their goal for the website redesign, so that it's easy for visitors to use so that they can convert for whatever reason they need to convert to meet business goals. And they want it to be easy for staff to update so that people who aren't very technical can get in and update content and easily add information or delete information and keep the site current. And so if it's easy for visitors and easy for staff, then that's generally going to be considered a high quality site, assuming that all the other stuff is good. You have good pictures and good content, but that's kind of some of those project goals. And I would suggest that we kind of flip this around to say that if it is easy for staff to use so that they can get in and quickly update content on the site, that can make it easy for visitors to use, which then can lead to that high quality site. So I don't see that easy for staff and easy for visitors are separate things. I see that making it easy for staff helps make it easy for visitors. And then you get a better quality site and your quality maintains over time. So often when you first launch a site, it's got all new content and you've got new pictures and everything's well nicely organized. But over time, things can get messy. By making it easy for staff to keep it updated, you can maintain that quality, and that makes it easy for visitors to use and improves your conversions. So what are some things that might prevent a site from being high quality or prevent users from having a good experience? So I have 6 things that we're going to kind of go through here of issues that sites can have. And I see that a lot of these are really driven by editors having trouble making the site do what they want it to do. And so as we go through this, I'll show how you can update the Kentico interface to make it easier for people who are editing the site so that they don't run into these issues, because we've eliminated the source of the issue, or we just made it very easy to do it in a better way, and so you don't end up with this bad experience. Just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Sally Schmidt. I've been working in the internet industry for over 15 years, developing websites for people. I started out doing research and user experience testing, and so I'm really kind of a user experience fanatic. Any projects that I work on, I try to make sure that it is easy for use for editors and easy to use for the end users. And so with content management systems like Kentico, making it easy for the editors is kind of a new idea in some cases, or just a new focus, where for a long time people have been focused on how is the website easy to use for visitors who are coming to the website, but making that experience easy to use for editors can be kind of a new idea. So I really try to focus on both of those. I've done web usability consulting for all kinds of companies. For the past 3 years, I've been working with Kentico with Avistone Technologies, and Avistone Technologies is a Kentico Gold partner. We've built over 25 Kentico websites, a lot more in our pipeline right now. And the picture is me. This is in Alaska last February of 2014, and we went up there so we could see the Northern Lights, and we did get to see the Northern Lights, and I have photographic proof of that. And it's something I recommend to anybody. If you have that at all on your bucket list, it's definitely worth it to go to Alaska in the winter so that you can see them. But that's kind of a side note. So to get back to our list here, so the first item that is often a problem on websites is old content. And I'm actually going to poke fun at our own partner site, Heartland Business Systems, which we are currently redesigning into Kentico, so this problem will go away. But the current site, unfortunately, has an upcoming event for last November, which obviously is not current. So this is just one example. I'm sure everybody has ideas of how you get old content into your site, and you just lose track of it. And so some of the ways to, and my customizing the UI for Kentico, or personalizing the UI, I'm taking a very broad interpretation of that. So there's lots of different things you can do in Kentico to improve the experience for content editors, and so that's what we're going to talk about. So one of them is to customize the dashboard, and I will flip over to our website here. So this dashboard, if you use the pre-built Kentico roles, they often come with some preset boxes, tiles on the dashboard. If you start out with a brand new role, you may get nothing on the dashboard. And you can actually set what appears on the dashboard for users. They also can customize it by clicking on the little gear icon. They can add things, but even without that, you can preset it. If you are the administrator, you can set it so that people who come in for different roles have specific items on their dashboard, which can make it really a one-click experience for them to get into an area where they need to edit. So to customize the dashboard, you want to go to the role, type correctly. You go into the role, and then you choose a role. So I'm just going to choose this CMS editor's role, one of the default Kentico roles. And you click on Default Dashboard. And then this is where you can add or remove pretty much any application from the applications list for them. Now, it interacts with, do they have permission to use it? So you have to be careful to keep everything consistent. But really, you can add other applications here very easily. It gives you the whole list of every application in the applications list. You can search for them if we wanted to find the blog stuff, for example. Say we have a blog, and so I want people to be able to easily update the blog. I can just click that, click Select, and now it is on their default dashboard. And assuming I'm logged in as myself, we'll see what my dashboard is. Nope, I've customized it. Let me impersonate Demo Bob here. All right, so now he has blogs because he's in that content editor role. So this is his pre-built dashboard that we have for him. The other kind of addition to this, which I touched on a little bit, is that you can customize what shows up here in the applications list. And so in this case, generally what you're wanting to do is just remove things that people aren't going to be using. And one way to do that would be to remove their permission to use it. But if you don't want to do that, you just want to eliminate it from their list, you can go to whoops, I got to get back out of this. Sorry about that. Get back to my admin user. If we go back to roles, and I'm going to click on CMS editors. Now I'm going to go into the UI personalization tab, and I'm going to click on administration. And if you click under here, administration. So you could see when I was under the Demo Bob role, he had the content management list, and he also had the social and community list. And if we're not doing a social site, so he doesn't need access to that, I can just unclick that. So now he doesn't have access, or it doesn't show up in his list anymore for social and community. So if I go back to impersonate Demo Bob, and now I click on this applications list, now the social and community part is gone. So it's just content management. You can delete and narrow down the choices within each of these areas as well. So if you don't have blogs, and you don't have polls, and you don't have translations, you can remove those items from the list so people don't even see them. And that just helps make it much cleaner. The items that are on your dashboard or in your administration or applications list are additive. So if you're in more than one role, it's going to compile all of them that you have and show them to you. So that can be another way you can help people only see what they need access to, but also give people who have more access to more things. And any of this dashboard personalization that you do can be overwritten really by someone customizing it themselves, but at least you get them started on the right foot. Now, since we were talking about old content, there are two things that are very helpful for keeping track of that, and I would recommend putting them on people's dashboard. So one of them is this outdated pages list. And this will show you pages that are older than 1 year. Now, I'm using for this demo a new website that we're building right now, so it doesn't have any old pages, but if it had old pages, they would be listed here and you can search through them. The other page that can be helpful here is the page that I don't have on my list. Let me add it. I wanted to add the My Pages. All right, so if you click on My Pages, and this is Demo Box. Sorry about that. Let me switch back to my account where I have some pages. I hope I'm not losing anybody by flipping back and forth here, but this impersonate ability is very handy in Kentico. So anyway, so if you have an editor, you've been making some changes, you have pages that you have edited, and this My Pages list will actually give you the last modified date, and it even sorts them so that the oldest pages are at the top, which is, again, a nice hint for here's some pages that haven't been updated in a while. Maybe you need to take a look at them to see if they have some outdated content on them. So that outdated pages and My Pages can both be helpful things on the personalized dashboard that will allow people to keep track of content so that you don't end up in the case where you have old content on your site. Now I'm going to go back to our presentation. So we talked about customizing the dashboard. We talked about customizing the application list so that we limit what shows up here if you ever click into applications. And so that's going to help with the old content. So why do we bother going through the effort to make these personalizations? Well, for this, it makes it easy to find old content, like I said, by using that outdated pages or My Pages. And if it's on the dashboard, then people see them where they might not find them on their own, just buried in the applications list. By making it easy to find the commonly used applications right on their dashboard, so they log in and bam, they're on their dashboard, they click right there. It eliminates clicks and makes it easier for people, makes it feel easier to use Kentico, which is easy to use initially, so this makes it even easier. And you can also reduce some confusion by taking away unneeded or unused applications, so you don't have to wade through things that you aren't using to find the things that you are using. It just makes it much cleaner, again, simpler. It makes it feel much easier to use by not having things that you don't need on your list. All right, so let's go on to the next item. This is another issue that I just run into this all the time working with clients on their websites. So you end up with lots of fonts in different sizes, in different colors, all on the same page. And so I have a couple examples here of sites that we have worked on in the past that most of these we have fixed up. But here's an example where we've got the purple headline links, and then we've got this red down here because they had important information that they wanted people to see. There's also some that's bold. And then we've got links that are purple within the red. So it really makes it very interesting looking page. Another example here from the Eau Claire School District, we've got a couple different shades of blue. We've got the application. We've got italics, non-italics, bold, large font, small font, other stuff over here on the side. So it's just, there's kind of a smorgasbord of fonts on here. We have this page, which is quite a winner as far as number of fonts fit onto the page. I've counted up to 14 different fonts on this page. Even on this little section of the page, there are 14 different fonts that are used. And it just makes it look messy. They're trying to make it, draw attention to specific areas of content, but it becomes just a mess. So how can we help editors avoid making a mess like this on their site by personalizing the interface? And so what I recommend is customizing the toolbar. So this is the full toolbar, which I prefer using over the limited one. But anyway, if you start out with the full toolbar, there's a couple things that we want to take away. So one is not allow people to choose their font. So they can't choose Comic Sans, they can't choose serifed fonts and sans serif fonts all on the same page. We just eliminate that choice for them. And I'll show you what we do for them instead. We eliminate the size of the font, so they can't change the size to make stuff bigger or smaller. We eliminate the colors, the font color and the font background color tabs. Take those away. So again, they can't change the color of the font. So what do we do instead? Because people want to be able to customize the page so that it looks nice. They want to be able to emphasize appropriate content. They want to be able to show headlines and organize the content in a way so people can read it. So by taking away the font, the size, and the colors, what we do instead is we let them use styles. So there are some default styles that come within Kentico. You can customize those, and on this presentation, which I think will be available for everyone, I actually put a link to how do you define styles in the editor. So if you have specific styles for your design, you can actually add them in here so that people can choose the red highlighted text if you have that, or they can choose the quote. I forget what it's called, but anyway, the thing that set off a quote. So it gives them choices, but they're within the design, and so hopefully they don't go crazy with them on the page, but it allows the flexibility for the editors, but still keeps everybody within the design, so it keeps it a little cleaner. Similarly, you have the format drop-down, which gives you different headings. So you can set your headings, H1, H2, H3, set those styles so that they show up in this list, and then that allows people to choose headlines as they're going down the page so that you get, you can organize the page by using the headlines font. So a couple other things to note on the toolbar before we go do the, kind of show you how you get to this. So this little icon here, which is kind of a weird looking icon, but it actually is a text format remover. It's very handy. So if you happen to either go a little crazy with the formatting, or things are kind of messed up, or maybe you've got some fonts that got accidentally pasted in, you can use this, highlight all the text, click this button, and it removes a lot of font formatting from the page, which then helps make it cleaner. The others that you have here are the paste in options. So generally we don't want people just to paste. We want them either to paste as plain text, so it removes any formatting from Word, or to paste from Word to, again, remove formatting from Word, so you don't get things carried in that then are not fonts that you're using in your design. All right, so let's go to our demo site, and let's go where we need to update this. So if we go back to the roles, actually, there's always in Kentico, 3 different ways you can get to. I'm in the wrong thing. All right, so I'm going to cancel my Demo Bob impersonation because we're not using that anymore. I need to get to roles. So within the roles, if I click on CMS editors again, I can go to UI personalization, and in this case, instead of administration, we want to go to editor. This then pulls you down to this WYSIWYG editor settings, which is where you want to be. So each of these little sections here correspond to a box within the toolbar. So I'm going to flip back to the toolbar. So you see each toolbar has a little box around it. And then each of those sections within the, back to that, each of these sections here within the hierarchy correspond to one of those boxes. And so as you can see here, this has a lot of stuff is all opened because it's all been, it's just wide open. Now we want to do some things to reduce some stuff. So we want to get rid of font name, font size. We want to get rid of colors, all of them. I'm just going to clear them all. Yeah, those are the things that we want to get rid of. Then we want to make sure that we have on our clipboard, I would even get rid of paste and just make people paste it as plain text or paste it from Word. This SCHMIDT is something about checking it as you type, spell check as you type, in case anybody wanted to know that. So that's a good thing to leave in there. Under search and history, this is where that remove format option is. So you want to make sure that that is checked so that we keep that. So now we have edited our toolbar for CMS editors. So now to test this out, if we go into Demo Bob's account and we go onto a page, and we hope that he has access to, oh, looks like I didn't set this up right. All right, well, I apologize for that. But in any case, once we got in here, he would not then have access to fonts, sizes, and the colors in his toolbar. He would still be able to get to the styles and to the font formatting drop down. He would not be able to paste it. He would still have just the text, paste from Word options, so that we're limiting what they can use so that they can't create pages that have lots of different font colors, at least not every color of the rainbow. We're limiting some of those choices. This makes it easier because they don't, then editors don't have to try to create something. They can just use what's already been set by using the styles. So if your design is well thought out and you have some nicely defined styles, you can provide that in any kind of training or in a style guideline document, and then editors know, I want to make my page look nicer, I need to call attention to something, here's how I can do that. That makes it easy. All right. So why do we go to the bother of updating this whole toolbar? Again, it eliminates the unneeded options, making the interface simpler. The fewer choices you have, the easier something is to do. It also gives approved options so that editors don't get frustrated because they can't do something that they want or need to do, but we give them a kind of a box within to play so that they have that flexibility without getting that frustration of I need to highlight this text. I need a way to do that. So we give them that with the styles option. So here's some examples of some cleaned up versions of some of the pages that we saw at the beginning of this section, where we had the Eau Claire School District. Now we have just a few, hierarchical headlines, no italics mixed in, some bold to, again, highlight the headlines, but again, a much cleaner presentation here. And then we had the Girl Scouts page where it had lots of purple and red, able to make that much cleaner, give them some links, to actually change the color scheme so that it was green, but just really simplified it down so that there's not all these colors. There's still information is called out when it needs to be, but it's not by making things a lot of different colors and using italics and larger font. The next item where we can improve the interface to help editors avoid making some mistakes is in promoting content. So this, again, is the same page that has all the fonts on it, but it was a very good example of they've got the Cougar Code they want to promote, they've got these clubs they want to promote, there's registration for summer school that needs to be promoted. So there's just a lot of items on here that they want to promote, and in this way with the icons and the little pictures and the clip art, it's just, it makes it hard because they're all competing for the same amount of attention. Another example here, this is from that old Girl Scout site where we had the purple and red color scheme here, but again, they have a lot of content. We've got promotions here on the side where you got some boxes that are kind of crowded. You got a picture to promote something, so it's just, but there's a lot of content on here. It's kind of hard to read because it's all pulled out together. So how do you make it easier for people to promote content in a way that works? Well, one is, within Kentico, you get a lot of widgets, which is a great thing about Kentico, but again, people can go crazy if you have widgets that aren't really designed to be used on your site. We also like to create custom widgets so that people have we provide editors, you know, here's an appropriate box to use to promote something, or here's an appropriate way to highlight a link, or here's a button widget to use. So you can create custom widgets that show up in the list. And then to make it easy for people to find those widgets that you do want them to use, you can customize the widget list. So this is an example of the default widget list over here. And you can customize it so you can get down to, here's just the stuff you need. Again, eliminating unnecessary choices to make it easier for people. Makes it easier, makes the site feel easier to use, and it also helps eliminate options for mistakes. So where do you go to customize these widgets? Well, let's go back to our page. I'm going to make sure I'm not using my Demo Bob account. I'm back into my own account. In this case, we need to go to the widget section. So that's under development. So again, some of these things are something that an admin or developer is going to have to set up for you. And then you can pick any widget you would like. And I recommend you go through all of the widgets and do this. And if you click on the security tab, then you can choose where it can be used, which generally is going to be something you don't need to mess with. You can choose who uses it. And so this is where things can be customized to clean up the user interface. So I will frequently, if I'm updating this, and there's a lot of widgets that really we aren't using on the website, either because they're not applicable. For example, you don't need a banner rotator widget if you don't have banners, or they're just things we don't want people to use because we have alternatives for them. I will go through and set anything that's not supposed to be used to just the global admin only allowed for. This means it's still there. Somebody who is the global admin can get back in and easily access this, but it's not going to show up on everybody else's list. So that's kind of the quick and dirty way to do it. You can get more specific if you have widgets that are only supposed to be allowed for certain types of users or certain groups of users or only certain sections where they have access to. You can choose to allow for authorized roles, and then you can select the roles that are authorized. So this allows you to get very specific depending on how you have your role structure set up, but you can really lock it down to be only the 3 people in this role can use this widget. So again, you have a couple options there to try and clean it up so that only people who need access, have access. Again, kind of the easy way. And this is set up pretty simply. You look at this and you think, oh, this is a long list, it's going to take me forever. It doesn't take that long because you can just go through here, click expand the option, click on this. This one is already set for authorized roles. But you just go through the list and select, global admin only or whichever authorized roles there are. And so it doesn't take very long to run through that list. But it really helps clean up the options when you click to select a widget. It's only going to show you a short list, making it much easier. Get back to our presentation here. All right, so we have that. You get to the short list. Some examples here of kind of cleaned up versions of the pages we were looking at before. So here's the Girl Scouts. We added, we have some custom widgets where we have some boxes that they can add to the page that have some nice boundaries behind them. It's got even a gradient behind it to help call out specific things. This one you can even add an image to and a link. So you can do that to let people add information, but in an organized way. So it cleans things up for you. I really recommend allowing people to work within boxes. It tends to provide some structure to the site, and it helps keep things from, even if you have a lot, if they're in boxes, they feel more organized. So this is another kind of the screenshot got a little small, but the updated Eau Claire website where we have the content really is all in white boxes on a gray background. And so even though you have a lot of boxes on here and a lot of content on this page, because it's in that box structure, which each of those are a widget, it just makes it more organized feeling for the user of the site. It gives the editor of the site that flexibility that they want to be able to add content in a way that makes sense for the page. and to add different types of content to the page. So it's really kind of a win-win for both. And by reducing the number of widgets that are available to the ones that you want them to use, it makes it easy to use and to keep within your structure that you set up when you design the site, so it's going to maintain. Related, but not exactly the same, although very powerful, I just didn't have any good examples for why this would be an issue, is you can also customize the page type list. So when you go to add a new page to the website, generally you get a list of all the different page types. That can be customized, and you can get it down to where people could see just one page type or just a few page types. You can even get it down to where it automatically selects the page type for them and just skips this whole select your page type step. So again, this is something that can make it much easier for editors to use the website. So for an example, I'm going to go back to pages. Right now, if you wanted to add an event to this page, you go to events, you click on the plus. We've got all these page types in here. There's default Kentico page types plus custom page types that have been created for this website. There's a lot in here. You have to really hunt to find the event. You also have the event booking system, so you have to decide which one you really want to use. That can make it feel hard to use for a site editor. So how do we fix this? Well, it's pretty slick, I must say myself. All right, we want to go to page types. Here we have all our page types. So there's two things you can do. One is you can click on your page type, and then you can click on allowed types, and you can set what are allowed parent types and child types. So you can say that to add this event page type, you must add it under a page menu item type. That can, eliminate things down. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of page menu item, a lot of pages have a page menu item type because you just put widgets on the page to customize it. You can also set so that of this, if I'm on this page type, only specific page types can be added underneath it. So you can kind of go either way, above or below, which can be helpful to eliminate, to narrow down your choices and certainly kind of get rid of the smorgasbord of all kinds of extra stuff that I showed you on the page where we have all these default page types that we aren't even using or mixed into the list of everything else. So that we can do to narrow things down. But what can be really powerful is something, if we go back here under page types, it's this scopes tab. So we're going to add a scope to this event. Now a scope is where you can set at this point in the content tree, these are what page types are allowed underneath this section. So you get very specific. So in this case, I'm going to select in the events section in this content tree. So under events is the path where this happens. I'm going to apply it to the whole section because it's events. There shouldn't be anything else there. And then I'm going to add just the event page type. So I'm going to not bother with this booking system because we're not going to use the registration system right now. We're just using regular calendar events. So I'm going to say the event page type, select that. So now in events, the event page type is the only type allowed. If I click save, now I can go back and just verify that I have. If I'm on events, I have scopes here, so it got automatically added because it's included in this scope. So that helps if you're checking why can't I see something. It might be that it's been scoped. So you can look at that. But now here's the fun part. So if we go back to our content tree and I click on events, I'm just going to click on page here. Click on events. Now I'm going to add an event to this page. Remember before I clicked on plus and we had like 20 things that we could choose from. Now I'm going to click plus. I don't even have to choose it because it's the only option available. It just takes me right there. Here's my new event. I can type in my new event name, summary, blah, blah, blah. Click save or save and create another, and I've added an event. So I've eliminated like 2 clicks for people. by narrowing this down. Now, you're not always going to be able to get it down to just one page type is applicable in this one case, but for things like events or news or job postings, things where it's really a specific format of information that you want in that section, this can help make it so much easier for an editor to do the right thing, because you eliminate the choice. They don't even have to make the choice. It's automatically made for them. So that is very helpful. And again, there's some, you know, instead of having this giant list, even if you had 2 things to choose from, that can be also helpful, but by eliminating the choices altogether, it just makes it even easier. So again, why are we going to go through the effort of going through and setting scopes as applicable, or adjusting which are allowed page types under each type of page? It just can reduce confusion and speed up selection with fewer choices. If you have to choose from 3 things, you can do that a lot faster than if you have to choose from 10. So you just want to make it simple for editors to do it. It also then helps them make the right choice. You also eliminate unwanted options, so there's no need to wade through things that aren't even applicable to your site. Just get rid of those. It makes it much cleaner. Again, much easier for the editors. Also makes it easier for the site users because they have the right content in the right spot. So you don't have an events tab with non-events underneath it. You just have events. Or you don't have a jobs tab that has non-jobs underneath it. You can, you know, it just keeps it clean. All right. Here's the next issue that we can run into on sites that impacts the user experience for visitors, also impacts the user experience for editors. So having big, slow images on your site. It's hard to do a screenshot to demonstrate big and slow images, but if you can imagine, while this page was loading, I took the screenshot. These images have started to load in here down at the bottom for Jessica and Amber. Kayla hasn't even gotten to yet, so that's not even a showing. You can also see that the images are a little bit squished. These people are looking very thin, which might be nice, but they're looking a little odd. So in this case, this was because they had, excuse me, images that they had just taken with their digital camera, and they just plopped them right off the digital camera and pushed them up onto the website. And so you have these, you know, 1,200 or 12,000, whatever, you know, 5 megapixel images trying to load onto a page. And so it just becomes very slow. They're not the right size. Not a good experience. So how do we customize the interface to make this a better experience? The image editing tools can help, but that's really the editors have to use the image editing tools to crop or resize the image. But there is the ability to automatically resize images when they're uploaded, which can help eliminate the giant images. So you can get down to at least a size that is a reasonable size for your website, the maximum reasonable size needed for your website. And so there's 3 options here. You can choose to upload and set a maximum width, you can set a maximum height, or you can set a maximum side, which means width or height. So it'll pick what's the largest and set it to not exceed whatever size you set here. So usually that's the most useful option, but depending on your site and how it's configured and what kind of images you might be using, some of these other options might be helpful. So how do we go about doing this? This is actually in the settings area. So if you go under settings and then under system, there's a files section, and down here we have image resizing. So you can set a maximum width of 2,000, say if you need large images on your site. So you kind of have to be careful with this of if you have a site that has a big banner image on the home page, your max width can't be smaller than that big, you know, your maximum banner size. So it may be a little big, but at least it's going to be smaller than just taking your pictures straight off of your camera and uploading them. You're going to reduce some size, file size there. And we have had this help in one case in particular where they had they had a photo gallery and they had just taken some pictures and put them right in there. And so they were trying to download 10 megabytes onto their when the home page loaded, and it was slowing everything down. So by putting this resize, at least it got rid of some of the size of the images so that they were more web ready and sped up the page without the editor having to do anything, because this happens automatically when they upload the image into the media library. So very handy. All right. The built-in image editing can be great too, because you can crop stuff, so that just is really nice. All right, so then here's our new cropped, smaller images. Loads right away. People, you can actually see their faces, and they're not too squished or skinny, so that's kind of the revised version of that page. So again, why bother to go through the effort to specify this, figure out what the size should be, and put it in there. It'll help keep page load times reasonable, especially if you have photo galleries. Can help keep the storage space that you need under control, because if you're uploading 10 megabyte images, it's going to eat up a lot of unneeded storage space on your servers. Some editors just don't have the image editing software available to them, and so they may not be able to easily resize the image to a more web-ready size. And so this helps them out by eliminating that step altogether, which is kind of repeats this last point of, if you take a picture with your phone or you take a picture with a camera and you want to put it up on the website, you can, kind of almost just straight do that if you have that file size automated, so that then you don't end up with these large images, which can make it easier for editors to post pictures, which makes it more often, it's more likely that they will frequently update pictures, which is what you want. All right, we have 2 more to go here. So another issue that people have often on websites is you end up with a content area is just a list of links, when there's already a list of links either somewhere on the right or the left. And so this can cause confusion for users, because they have to try and compare to see what are all my options. And this clicks for search IPAC, is that the same thing as the catalog library IPAC? Finding a great read, well, that looks obvious, but is the book blog, where's that? So it just, you end up trying to compare these lists to find your total choices. It takes a lot of time to try and figure it out. From an editor's perspective, now they've got multiple places where they have to keep links updated. It becomes a headache. Again, not exactly a specific personalization of the UI, but if you keep the content tree organized, that can help. And if you include navigation automatically on the pages, then that eliminates some of this need for creating another list of links that has to then be maintained. So sometimes the content tree, when you're in development, can get a little messy. You can get stuff that's up here at the beginning that maybe not even anything that anyone is really using. So really the best way, I think, to organize the content tree is to mirror the navigation. So you've got the home, well, you're going to have home. Then you can see here we've got Join, Renew, Volunteers Camp, What Girls Can Do, News, Shop, Alumni. It's the same as what's across the top of the website. Then there's some additional utility links up here, which are also here on the list. Then we have the special pages. So this was a folder. It has some other stuff, the search page, the 404 page, the sitemap page, things that you're not really ever going to use once you set them up generally. So those are stored here in the special pages at the bottom of the list. So editors generally are going to ignore it if they don't need it, because they're going to have found what they wanted here at the top of the list. So really trying to keep that content tree organized, again, a simple thing, but can help reduce the need for editors to feel like they need to create lists of links on their page, because they know where to find stuff, and it's very easy to correlate how things are organized on the website with how things are organized in the content tree. So again, kind of cleaning up that library page. Here we've got a left navigation that has all of the main links. There were a couple things that were specifically for searching, so here we organized those over here. There's not duplicated links between the two. Makes it much easier for people to decide where they want to go on the site. So again, why bother making sure that that tree structure stays organized, or that you clean it up before you kind of turn the site over if you're the developer. Makes it easier to find pages for everybody, really. And then providing that consistent navigation, again, eliminates the need for lists of links. And then the list of links don't have to be updated because things are going to be automatically updated as the content tree updates. So it just makes it much easier. All right, our last issue that people can run into that isn't a great experience for content visitors. Sometimes it seems like education sites are specifically prone to using animated GIFs. I've started collecting them. Here I've even, although you may recognize this, I've tried to blank out the owner of these, so it's kind of, we're not hurting the innocent here with these content GIFs. This chicken one's one of my new ones, and unfortunately it doesn't run very well in the PowerPoint, but he pecks the ground and then waits a little bit and pecks the ground again. There's another one with pencils that are moving. Okay, so animated GIFs, why do people use them? Well, they're fun. They're trying to make the site look more interesting. They're trying to add some color or flair to the website. They are not a great user experience because they keep moving constantly. Either people ignore them because they think they're ads, or they become a distraction. So here on this page where we have the pencils moving back and forth, and you're trying to read the content on this page and your eye keeps going back to the pencils because they keep moving, it just becomes hard to do. So generally, it's not advised to use an animated GIF on your site. There is a way that you can eliminate animated GIFs from your website, and that is by not allowing anyone to upload a GIF at all. So this, again, is another way to personalize, kind of stretching the personalize the user interface, but really it's a customization of Kentico that can make it easier for editors, which can make it easier and better experience for your site visitors. So to manage what kind of file extensions people can upload into the media library, we go to settings again. Here we're still in settings. Now we go under content and media, and we have this list. Now this list comes from default from Kentico. It's really long. It's got all kinds of great file formats in it. GIF is somewhere in the middle. So we have to find it. So to eliminate it, it's very simple. You just delete it. The semicolons, keep the semicolons in between things. And now when I save, there's no more GIFs can be uploaded onto this website. You can look through this list and see if there's other things that you don't want on your site that and you can eliminate them here, and then that will avoid the issue. So you can eliminate PowerPoints, you can eliminate Excel files, Word documents, HTML files. Usually you want to keep other image formats because people get images in all kinds of JPEGs. They've got a lot of video or audio file types on here, again, that you can decide if that's appropriate for your website or not, a zip file. So there's all kinds of things here. There may be some that you need to add if you have a specific file type that you're adding, so this is where you would go to do that. But really, by eliminating GIFs, it just helps keep your website clean from any animations. And so why do you want to do that? Well, there's not a lot of good reasons why you would use a GIF. I've seen some nice use of GIFs in emails lately, but beyond that, it really doesn't need to be on a page of your website generally. By eliminating it as an option for the upload, you can kind of make Kentico be the bad guy so that you don't have to tell people you don't want them to have an animated GIF on their page, but you can say that Kentico won't allow an animated GIF on the page, and so you kind of pass the buck in that case. Kentico may not think that's a great thing, but politically it might help smooth some feathers there if it's just that the tool won't allow it. Sometimes people take that as a reason more easily than you don't want it on your website if you're the website owner or editor. So that's our list of about 6 different things that can impact the ease of use for your staff, which can impact the ease of use for visitors, and those kind of go back and forth. And by cleaning up some of these things, making it easier for your staff to update the site appropriately, you can continue to maintain the high quality that a site has when it is launched. So that's my what I had to present. We have a few minutes left here. If there are any questions that have come up, I'm happy to try to answer those. I don't know, Joel, are there any questions there? I'm trying to see. Looks like there aren't any questions in the chat. If you do have a question, if you want to try and chat it, or I don't know if we have the raise your hand option on here today, but. Doesn't sound like I'm getting any questions. So feel free if you'd like to reach out to me directly. Thank you again to HiMonkey for organizing the Kentico User Group, and be sure to visit kenticousergroup.org to sign up for the next couple presentations.
And hey, Sally, this is Joel at HiMonkey. Just real quick, there was one question about being able to take a look, do a replay, and we'll put this out at the kenticousergroup.org site. We'll have a link to the presentation so people can get to it.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you.
Another reason to go there.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. So, cool. Well, everybody, thank you for attending. I don't think I see any other questions on the list here. But again, you can always reach out to us or shoot us a question via the website as well, and we'll make sure and get back to you or forward it on to Sally so she can get back to you. So thank you again, Sally, and thank you everybody for attending.
Okay, thanks. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.